What if I can't master all the elements in time? What if I fail?
I know you can do it, Aang, for you have done it before.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Winter Solstice Part 2, Avatar Roku. Team Avatar makes their way to a temple in the Fire Nation in order for Aang to talk to Roku, which he was instructed to do in the last episode. Along the way, Zuko picks up on their trail and pursues them into Fire Nation territory, disobeying his father's banishment orders. To make matters worse, the Aang gang catches the eye of Xiao, who is just as adamant about catching the Avatar as Zuko is. Oh, and did I mention the temple has a group of sages who are loyal to the Fire Lord and want Aang dead? And you know what, just for funsies, let's put everything in an active volcano that erupts in the middle of it all. Holy the dongles, talk about climactic. It is constant tension throughout this episode, and it won't be the last time AtLA does this. Well, I guess the best place to start with all this craziness is the elephant in the room. When Roku talks to Aang, he reveals Sozin's comet, aka the ticking clock of the series. Firebenders get their power from heat sources, so when this massive flaming comet passed the planet 100 years ago, it empowered the firebenders of that time and was used to start the war. Roku reveals that the comet will return at the end of the summer, and when it does, the current Fire Lord Ozai will use it to end the war and damage the world in a way that Aang won't be able to fix.
Mastering the elements takes years of discipline and practice. But if the world is to survive, you must do it by summer's end.
As if the pressure wasn't already enough. Not only does Aang have to be the chosen one, not only is an entire nation out to get him, not only is he 100 years late to the party, but he has to master his skills that normally take years to do in a matter of months. This changes everything about the show. Before now, Aang could have derped around until he was an adult for all the audience cared. The world was in peril for 100 years, it could wait a few more if it means doing the job right. But the knowledge that if Aang doesn't kick it into high gear, not only will the war be lost, but the world will be irreparably damaged means something completely different. Throughout the rest of the series, this knowledge will forever be in the background. Each day Aang doesn't defeat the Fire Lord is a day closer to Armageddon.
It's good to see you, Aang. What took you so long?
The next big thing is the presence of Avatar Roku himself. In the hero's journey storytelling trope, there is the role of the mentor, an experienced old man who once was what the protagonist is currently trying to become. Roku fits that role to a T, as he was literally Aang's past life. The interesting thing though with Roku is that despite the point of the mentor in the story being to train and guide the protagonist, Roku can't do that because he's dead. In order for Aang to communicate with Roku, or do anything spiritual really, Aang himself has to set the proper conditions. Roku tells Aang that from this point forward, he can get Roku's help whenever he needs it, and later in the series we do see Aang being able to access Roku more freely. Because of that, I always saw the first interaction with Roku as Aang unlocking something within himself, and once it's unlocked, it gradually gets easier with practice. The most impressive thing about Roku is that he acts as a paragon in this moment, specifically for Aang, whose job is to be the next Avatar. When Aang tries to escape, Roku takes over his body and destroys the temple using lava bending, a unique technique. By the way, The Legend of Korra completely butchers the concept of lava bending, as it was originally a fusion between fire bending and earth bending, which meant only an Avatar could do it single-handedly. But the interesting concept of Roku intervening is that we get a glimpse of just how powerful Aang could become. This is why the Fire Nation needs to catch Aang as soon as possible. A fully realized Avatar is the most powerful being in this world. Nothing can stop it. However, I am gonna have to increase Aang's counter since he got himself into trouble but didn't have to face the consequences due to someone else bailing him out.
I'm certain the Fire Lord will understand when you explain why you betrayed him.
Commander Xiao.
Commander Xiao is back and plays a very interesting role in this episode. On the one hand, we have our heroes, whom we're definitely meant to root for. Then we have Zuko and Iroh, two likable villains whom we don't want to succeed, but we don't want to fail either. Xiao fills the final slot. He's the guy we just downright want to see fail. The interesting thing about Xiao is that he represents everything we're supposed to hate about the Fire Nation. Not only does he fire on Zuko using the excuse that because he's a banished prince, his safety doesn't matter, but he also falsely accuses all the sages of helping the Avatar, even though he's well aware that only one of them did.
The only thing I do have is 5 traitors!
But Commander, only Haiyu helped the Avatar.
Save your stories for the Fire Lord.
Xiao is pure vanity and pride. If it makes him look good, he'll do the deed, regardless of the consequences it may cause to others.
Why did you help the Avatar?
Because it was once the sage's duty.
It is still our duty.
Upon rewatching this episode, I found myself paying more attention to Xiao, the sage who helps Aang. His role is minor, but it says a ton in hindsight. For starters, when he first meets the Boomerang Squad, he tries to tell them he's their friend, to which Sokka responds,
"Firebenders aren't our friends."
I didn't catch this until recently, but that's blatant discrimination. For the most part throughout the show, Team Avatar is good about judging people for who they are rather than what side they fight for. But I never realized until now that this was the moment that put them on that track. Everyone is 100% ready to fight Xiao until he humbly bows to them. He explains that he never wanted to serve the Fire Lord and that his family has been forced to do so. It makes sense that after this moment the team would see the people of the Fire Nation as individuals, especially Aang, for whom the Fire Nation only recently became an enemy. The moment helps the audience see this as well. Yeah, Zuko and Iroh are likable characters, but they're still bad guys. This sage is the first good firebender we've seen throughout the show, which is a sign to the audience to keep their eyes open for more. Also, he helps nail in the consequences of Aang not showing up when he was supposed to.
Roku died. The sages eagerly awaited for the next avatar to return. But he never came.
They were waiting for me.
A few little things worth noting. I do like Sokka and Katara's contributions to this episode. Sokka comes up with the idea of using fake firebending, and when it fails, Katara tops it off by saying they should pretend it worked. Without this happening, Sokka and Katara would have been completely useless in the episode, and it would have justified Aang's earlier notions of not wanting them to come with him. Also, this moment right here. That's still the most terrifying moment in the entire show. Holy crap! Lastly, there's the little notions of emotion. Katara saying she can't live without Aang, Iroh begging Zuko not to go into the Fire Nation. It's moments like these that truly bring the AtLA characters to life. And since the characters are the best aspect of the show, these moments were certainly worth leaving in. And that's Avatar Roku, arguably the biggest game changer in book water. It's at this point you can make the argument that Avatar really got started as the ticking clock is now in play. A lot of things about how the audience views the show are changed instantaneously, and now, more than ever, we see the daunting task that Aang has ahead of him. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.